Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for Friday, November 18th. So as you can hear, my voice is still a little creaky. I'll just do a quick medical update. So in fact, I did end up testing positive for COVID. I'm well on the mend. I'm doing okay. Vanessa has been hit a little bit harder. She's okay. It settled into her chest. So she's sort of barking like a bit of a seal, to tell you the truth. But she's under medical care. She's not in the hospital, so she will just continue to recover. Vanessa has great stamina and a great ability to heal, so we're carrying on in this house. I'm going to try to keep this short because I've kind of done a little bit of too much talking today, and I just have more to go. So, lots and lots and lots going on. First of all, thank you very, very much for all of the good wishes, the blasts of healing energy and light and Reiki. I received all of it, and we're doing, like I say, we're doing better. And I frankly, I shudder to think what kind of shape Vanessa would be in had she not been receiving that amazing energy from all of you. So I'm very grateful. Thank you. To the donors, thank you very, very much. Again, very much appreciate your support of me and the channel and the work we do here. I'm always humbled. And so I send out a thank you to all of you. To any new subscribers, welcome. My subscription levels have sort of plateaued again. So I'm hoping that there might be some of you out there who haven't subscribed yet who wish to. And for my regular donors, please double check and make sure you actually are subscribed to the channel, because sometimes the subscription sort of gets wiped, not by your own doing. So anybody looking for private readings, I am currently booking December, the week of, like, I think it's December 12th. So if you're wanting to look at that, feel free. You can just send an email. It is in the drop box below, but you can send an email to soulprint888@gmail.com, and I will send you out the information that you need and require. Okay, so let's get cracking here. All right. So the Senate remained in Democratic hands, for which we should all be grateful and thankful, as was predicted. The Unfortunately, the House fell to the Republicans. It is a very, very slim majority, and he's going to have a very hard time. Kevin McCarthy is going to have a very hard time keeping um, the crazies contained. Okay, because while there were no election deniers that got elected to important houses, okay, they didn't get elected to the Senate, they didn't get elected as governors or secretary treasurers, I think it is, or governor generals, whatever the title is that monitors election results state by state. Okay, so that was really good, but there certainly were some House representatives who were elected. Um, and like, good luck to him, honestly, because he's bitten off more than he can chew. This truly is one of those be careful what you wish for situations. You can anticipate that it's going to be a gong show. Yesterday, they spent, 2 months screaming their heads off about the economy and crime and inflation. And the first thing that they announced yesterday was, of course, that they're going to be investigating Hunter Biden. So that just goes to show you who they are, and what they're going to be about. But thank the Lord, the Senate has held. So there's going to be an ability for Biden to continue to get judges where judges need to go. We are all going to put all of our energy into a Democratic win on that runoff in Georgia. Although I'm positive that Reverend Warnock will win. Let's just double check. I've got my pendulum right here. Pendulum. as a result of the December 6th runoff in Georgia, is Warnock going to retain his Senate seat? Yeah, he is. Okay, that's a good thing. And the other apparently real benefit of having 51 seats as opposed to a 50-50 split is something about um, there's things that are in committee and they can't move out of committee or move on to the next, I guess, next step, which I guess might be legislation or that kind of thing. I don't know. But can't do it unless you have 51 votes. And so a lot of stuff that has been stalled in committee for the last 2 years because of the 50-50 Senate should be able to move forward. Okay, and of course, Trump has announced that he is running for president. So let's do a couple quick pendulum questions with regards to that. So, you and me, we all know that he did this because he believed it would protect him from criminal charges. That was the only reason, okay? Make no mistake. Well, that and he's revenge fueled, and so that's of course the other motivator is he just wants to exact revenge on like everybody. All right, so let's see. Um, was Trump's primary reason for announcing a run for presidency 2024 was was the primary motivation legal? Yeah, it absolutely is. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if he's running and there are legal charges, if like the RNC ends up footing the bill for that, that could have been a way to get his lawyer's bills paid for. Is Donald Trump going to be charged, legally charged or indicted before the summer of 2023? Are they going to be charged before the summer of 2023? Yes. Merrick Garland has just announced that he is assigning a special counsel to look into the January 6th and the Mar-a-Lago situation. There's going to be a lot of controversy about should he have done it or shouldn't he have done it, but done. So let's just move forward from there. Ultimately, is the decision Merrick Garland made going to prove to be the wisest course of action? Yes. What it's done is it's removed, at least to some degree, the idea of like Biden's attorney general going after Trump. Okay. Um, are those investigations actually going to slow down, or are there going to be delays caused as a result of the assigning of a special counsel? No, and that is one of the things that Merrick Garland has said, that this is not going to slow down. It is going to continue moving forward. And the way I understood what he said was the investigators who were working on it will continue to, I think, work on it. So there's that. Um, is Kevin McCarthy going to be able to maintain any sort of order in the House of Representatives as the majority leader of the House or the majority speaker, whatever that title is? Is he going to be able to maintain any sort of professionalism? No. Is he going to be able to maintain any sort of control? Okay, no. So another interesting question just popped into my is Kevin McCarthy actually going to get elected as leader? Okay, that's a yes. I think honestly, nobody else wants the job. Um, Are they going to get rid of? Are those Republican House members going to get rid of Kevin McCarthy as leader within, oh, I don't know, next 6 months? Yeah. And when that happens, is the House going to become even more like radicalized? Yes. And as a result of that, is it more likely than not that the Dems will retake the House in 2024? Yes. And will the Democrats hold on to the Senate in 2024? That's a yes right now. I have to tell you personally, I'm kind of disappointed that Boebert, whatever her name is, actually won. But man, what a tight race. In fact, you know what? I don't even know if it's still been officially called yet. I think she won that race by like less than a point. So, I'm hope, you can always hope that these people think, oh my God, that was a way tighter race than it should have been. Maybe I should tone down the crazy, but these people are not going to tone down the crazy because that's the planet and the place and the environment that they live in. Um, it was interesting to me when I actually tuned into the news to find out that there had been all this talk about a red wave because you know what I didn't hear about it because of course I just can't tolerate listening to crazy. And so I was really unaware that the predictions were like absolutely it's going to be a massive red wave. They're going to take the House. They're going to take the Senate. It's going to be a bloodbath. Well, there was no bloodbath at all. In fact, in many cases, those poor Republican. In fact, a lot of cases. Those Republicans were like literally scrambling for their very lives because, the ones who won, there were very few who won by really good percentage margins. A lot of them just sort of, you know, scraped by. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic does or does not play out as things go forward. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick trajectory reading. I just want to look quick and see how the United States is doing. There is still a lot going on. Oh, one other thing I just wanted to energetically touch on is that so apparently Bonnie Wills in Georgia. In the summer, she came out and she said that there were all of these fake electorates, and could they could consider themselves, or they may very likely become targets of her investigation. It feels as if that has sort of backfired a little bit on her because the group of those electors have gotten together and they're sort of putting up a real united front. And they're just basically saying, listen, we're not going to testify for your grand jury because, we can't self incriminate. So now, I mean, ultimately, I think that um, that's just going to make them look bad. But apparently, for right now, it appears to have created a little bit of hitch in her giddy up. And so she's really, working she has floated some immunity deals for some of them, and they're not biting. And of course, she has um, Lindsey Graham and, oh, that other guy who was secretary for Trump, whatever his name is. You can tell my brain's not clear yet, eh? They're going to be coming in to testify. The governor of Georgia, Kemp, testified, I think, earlier this week. So she's getting information, but I think that may have slowed down the progression. Let's just actually see, because everybody was really anticipating that she would be filing indictments before the end of the year. Pendulum, are there still going to be indictment? Okay, wait. Are there going to be indictments as a result of the grand jury in Fulton County hearing evidence with regards to trying to steal the election and vote tampering? Are there going to be charges as a result of that? Okay, yes. Are we likely to see those charges literally within the next 6 weeks before now and the end of the year? Well, that thing's like almost come to a dead stop. Are we more likely to see those charges in January of 2023? Okay, so it looks like it might just take a couple of weeks longer than we had hoped for. You know, again, everybody needs to be patient. Um, the reality is, whether we like it or not, um, the wannabe king of Mar-a-Lago was president. We don't have to like it, but he was. And because he was, charging him in different places on multiple counts of different violations of the law is serious business. It cannot be just sort of taken lightly, because you don't want that to become a normal behavior, so that as soon as there's a new election and the other party is running, they figure out something to charge the previous president on. Okay, that's how banana republics come to be. So it's really, really serious that um, that Trump be charged, and more, it's really important that if he's charged, he's found guilty. Okay, so I know it's frustrating, but we have to just pull back a little bit and ask ourselves if this is the kind of behavior we want to become a regular part of um, politics in the future. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene apparently is absolutely intent on trying to impeach President Biden every single week going forward for 2 years. That's her intention. And because they hold the majority, technically she could get the votes to do that. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. I think that there are too many mainstream or moderate Republicans still in office who are going to just shoot that down every single week. But it doesn't mean that she can't do it. And because there's a whole bunch of election deniers in that house now, she's going to get good votes on that. Is that really what you want to have happen? They could impeach Biden, I don't know, every week for the next, what, 300 weeks? Think about that. Is that how you want your country to be run? Okay. So we have to take a big, deep breath and be patient. Okay. Um, I am being told energetically that, in fact, DeSantis is going to announce, but not for a while yet. I have to tell you, energetically, it feels as if um, Trump is going to end up being charged before he can really, really pick up a lot of momentum in terms of reelection. And it also feels as if there will be a guilty verdict that comes down the pike that may very well prevent him. Remember, there are certain things that he's being charged with that could actually prevent him from running for office again. And certainly with a grand jury looking at the behavior of the insurrection, around his behavior around that. I think that might be a good thing. All right, quick. Um, um, U.S. current trajectory, U.S. current trajectory, U.S. current trajectory. Okay, nice. You're starting off with the Four of Wands. Okay, so in fact, there is reason to rejoice. There is reason to celebrate. There is a stronger sense of community and even holding the line on democracy, or, from losing democracy. has been accomplished. Yeah, it was accomplished by a narrow margin, but it was done. You guys rose to the occasion. You pushed back against the insurrectionists. You pushed back against a sort of authoritarian rule that the Republicans seem to be moving more and more towards. So take that moment and, just be grateful. Just congratulate yourselves, pat yourselves on the back because you really avoided a disaster. Um, and there was a great deal of work being done energetically. There was a great deal of work being done by, earth angels energetically. Um, there was a lot going on that was really, really pulling back against that rushing tide, against basic democracy. And so that really, really was diverted. But understand, um, you got the Seven of Wands here. You're going to have to continue to work at it. This is not a one and done. You're going to have to continue to pay attention. And one of the actually really good things is that as a result, a lot more people understand the importance of down ballot races. They understand the importance of getting involved in state races, in midterms, etc. And so that has been a good thing. You've got the Six of Pentacles here. So literally, there was a rebalance achieved. It has not been, it's a balance, and a balance hangs, okay? But for right now, the country is safe and moving forward, but there's going to be a lot of nonsense going on in terms of government crazy. All right. You've got the Ace of Swords here. The rule of law will survive. The rule of law will succeed. The rule of law will hold things together and in place. Wheel of Fortune. So good fortune has fallen on the United States. You really were able to avert a disaster, and that good fortune is going to carry forward. Okay. So even though things are going to be tricky going forward, even though you're going to have to put up with a lot of nonsense crap coming out of the Republican mouths, um, the good luck is going to hold. But you know what? You know that expression, something about the luckiest people are the ones who work for it? That's the deal. Don't spend a lot of time being upset or mad or sad about the loss of, in terms of the House of Representatives, because the reality is, in some ways, the nonsense that's going to go on in the next 12, 16, 24 months is actually going to work to the Democrats' favor, because one of the things that the election did was it made it really, really clear that people are sick and tired of just everything that was going on. And these people have not twigged into that. And so they're going to keep carrying on in that really crazy way. And you know what? It's absolutely not going to work. In fact, what's going to happen is it's going to strengthen, and bring more abundance and more clarity and more growth to the Democrats. Okay. Because people are going to be like, listen, if this is what, um, the Republicans have fallen into, if this is what they've become, more and more people are going to say, I'm just not interested in that. It's going to be okay. Hang on to your dreams, hang on to your wishes, and know that you have just climbed a huge hill and you have won. But you need to keep on paying attention, staying focused, and doing, what you need to do to continue to safeguard not only the democracy of the United States, but honestly, like the country itself, okay? But it's going to be okay. All right. Um, it's interesting that Pelosi and Claiborne and the other gentleman whose name I don't know, can't remember, have all stepped down from their sort of senior positions, and they're opening up the energy to another generation, a newer generation. I think it's fabulous. Nancy Pelosi is going to go down in history as one of the all-time best evers. But it is important that the country takes on a newer energy and moves forward in that direction. It's important that there be made room for the newer and the younger and the more vibrant energy. And speaking of which, look at those people under 40 go. We had long said on this channel that it was going to be the youngins that really, really pulled things out, and got the Dems where the Dems needed to go. And I was absolutely delighted to see that they absolutely did that. In fact, statistically, it was those under, I think it was 44, so 18 to 44, those were the ones who voted in way higher numbers than voted Democrat in way higher numbers than they voted Republican. What was a little disconcerting is the other two age groups actually voted Republican more than Democrats. And I don't know if that is typical or non typical, but it kind of feels a little bit like some of the more established voters. Some work needs to be done to sort of encourage them to stay um, focused on the side of higher intentions and good for all. So that's where we're at. All right. For those of you who follow the Pick Your Crystal weekly reading that comes out on Saturday morning, it will be released on Saturday morning. Some of those were pre-recorded, which is how come I sound way better in them than I do now. It is the weekend. Congratulate yourself. Take some time, regroup. Know that you did it. Don't brush that off. It was huge. Absolutely huge. What was accomplished in the last election by you guys. Congratulations. All right. I am keeping my fingers crossed that by next week I will be back on my regular kind of video schedule. Um, as I said, I'm doing better, but I have to tell you, there's a little tiny part of me that's sort of bracing for a bit of a relapse. But hopefully that won't happen. And I will be back and back on track next week. You all have a really good weekend. Enjoy. And until next time, take care. Be well. And see you soon. Bye bye.